That's me.
When Jackie Coolidge pages through these old photo albums in her Chevy Chase home,
My sisters and their friends.
it brings her childhood back to life.
You know, pretty normal family. I think my parents were bending over backward to make sure they treated everyone the same.
A childhood in Michigan with her mom, dad, and 2 older sisters. For more than 50 years, this was the only life she knew. That's until 23andMe came into the picture.
My husband and I said, oh, let's do this.
Her DNA results unlocking a part of her family tree she had no idea existed.
I could see that I'm related to everybody on my mom's side. I'm not related to anybody on my dad's side. I'm only half sisters with my sisters.
Jackie's parents had already passed, but she found her answers tucked away in their medical records. This letter from the University of Michigan Hospital thanking her parents for their cooperation. You see, Jackie was conceived using donor sperm.
My parents were, you know, they had kept completely tight-lipped about it. They weren't saying a thing. Because back then, that was the advice. The advice was, you know, nobody has to know. Don't tell them.
Jackie was curious about her donor father, especially his medical history.
You know, I've been giving incorrect information to my doctors my whole life.
So she turned to Facebook, where her search angels, as she calls them, complete strangers, found him. Her donor father's family gave her access to his medical records, where she found a history of colon cancer.
I should have been on the early and often colonoscopy schedule. As it turns out, I had been, you know, I had had a colonoscopy, and it was, you know, clean at the age of 50, you know. Thank goodness.
Jackie was lucky, but she knows other donor-conceived people are still in the dark about serious medical conditions they're at risk for.
Next, we have House Bill 482.
Which is why Jackie's story inspired Maryland House Bill 482. Delegate Emily Shetty introduced it earlier this year.
I think that having access to your own medical history is a basic right.
The bill proposed bringing the minimum donor age to 21, limiting the number of families per donor to 25, and would give a person access to their donor's identity and medical history when they turn 18.
It could mean that it could save their life one day to know that information.
But there was some pushback and concerns about unintended consequences.
Assisted reproduction is really a very important family building process for LGBTQ families.
Some fear any sort of regulation of this industry, especially limiting the number of times one donor can be used, would have a harmful impact.
I think that what we have to be more cautious about is broader legislation, you know, seeks to regulate reproductive autonomy of people.
It's why Delegate Shetty hit pause on the bill for now.
You look at the pictures and you suddenly realize, oh, you know, these cousins, there's no genetic relationship.
Meantime, Jackie's search for answers led her to 2 other half-sisters from the same donor.
I call it, you know, the nurture family and the nature family.
She says her story doesn't redefine her idea of family, it just expands it.